made as well. We have areas of the city right now where the city does not require parking with new development. So we have a track record of seeing what happens when you don't require parking. And actually, in a great many cases, developers do provide parking. It's not, when you don't require it, it does not mean that the development does not have parking. What it does mean is that there's flexibility for different projects that are marketed to different kinds of tenants in different locations that have different levels of transit to provide the parking that the developer thinks they will need to sell or to rent their units. And that seems to be working pretty well in those areas of the city where right now, for a number of years, the city has not required parking. As Brennan said, under this new state law, there are many fewer choices for the city in terms of requiring parking. In our neighborhood residential zones, there still will be required parking at one space for every 2 units. So outside of the neighborhood center boundaries here and more in other parts of the neighborhood, there still will be a floor in terms of the number of parking spaces required. But even there, you may and will quite likely see a lot of development that provides 1 space for every unit, even though they wouldn't be required to do so.
Answer your question, sorry.
I'm not sure.
I have a question about the let's just take, for example, Newton Street on 41st, and I believe it was 4 stories. So is that 4 units you're looking for? Well, let's just say that that's what it is. What would the MHA fees be on a 4-unit building on a 4,000 square foot lot in Madison Park?
Yeah. Find the letters.
Mandatory housing affordability is the requirement that new development, again, not like the smaller neighborhood residential, but the bigger ones contribute to affordable housing. They have the option of either providing units on site or paying into a fund. The payment amounts vary in different areas of the city, low cost, medium cost, and high cost. They also vary based on the amount of new zoning that was given, the amount of capacity that was given. So they do range, but generally, don't quote me, but I think they're kind of on the low end, they're like maybe $13 per square foot of new development, and on the high end, they're maybe $35 per square foot of development. So you basically look at how much, how much square footage is in that building, and you multiply it by that amount.
So
I don't think so. Are you talking about a neighborhood residential project? So sorry, that's
So Newton, I'm just saying, let's just take Newton Street on 41st.
Yeah.
41st and Newton, I believe it's 4-story. So you have 4,000 square foot lots on the whole block, and let's just call it a 4-story building. I think that's what it was. And so let's call that let's just call it 4 times 12. So 4,800 square foot building total. What would the MHA fees be on that?
Yeah, so that if it's a 4-story zone, then it would have a mandatory housing affordability requirement. And I didn't know what's the square footage you're going for here. Like,
Well, I was saying 1,200 per floor and 4 floors. So you're at 4,800 square feet. What would the fee be for that developer? Because a lot of developers won't touch it. The MHA fees, to our experience, has gone up several times since it was instigated. They keep rising. And we've had properties where the developer wants to do it, 3 units on a property, and then once the MHA fees go up, they say it's not affordable for us to even touch it.
Yeah, so I think the math was working out to this 4-story apartment building, 50,000 square feet.
No, 4,800, it's 1,200 per floor. So
4,800,
12 times
right.
4.
Yeah,
okay.
So 20,000 square foot total building then?
Okay, so 1,200 square feet per floor
Thank you.
times 4, so 4 times 12 is 48. And then
We're talking about a 5,000 square foot building approximately.
Okay.
And so then the fees would be between $60,000 and about $200,000.
$200,000 for the project.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to do math on the fly here, but I will try to address, I think, your larger question, which is the MHA requirement is creating some barriers for projects that you might want to see that can go forward. The mayor's office is leading up an effort to, under the mandatory housing affordability, periodically the city will take stock of how is the program working, what kind of development is happening, talked to developers about some of the barriers they're facing, other issues. How much is the city getting in terms of funds, and what kind of housing that's affordable to lower income residents are we able to build? All of those factors, that is happening now. That's a work that's ongoing, and so questions about making potential adjustments to MHA, including the fees, is something the city is looking at, and there may be some changes in the near future.
I'll just be honest, I don't really like MHA fees, and I think we had an amendment at council to we did, Alex, that didn't pass though. It did pass. We had an amendment, thank you, I was looking in my notes, to eliminate MHA fees when it came to ADU buildings. And we passed that at council. That was out of the comp plan, phase 1. I voted for that because there's a balance here. If it's a new property, I understand some of the fees, but if someone's just trying to add an ADU in their backyard to help their kid, they shouldn't have to pay. Oh, an ADU, a detached dwelling unit. You know that one, okay. Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
That's the only one I know though.
I know, I'll make sure I say everything. But that was the one thing that we were really, that was really important to us, that people that were wanting to develop their properties should have that barrier of. Now I understand about new development. It did pass that as well. If I get your.
Hey, well, thank you, Joy, for being here. I live in Madison Park. It's a 3-mile bus to the office. Notice both in Capitol is built is capacity that either Capitol Hill or increase. Look in Madison Park, family homes that are putting and maintaining single family. Phase 2 and voting on increase is address where the demand before spread across the to further address where the population centers are.
Where specifically are you? South Lake Union?
I would say those neighborhoods happened in the last 10 years, and I see them as continuing.
You all probably want to answer this. That's been designated for Capitol Hill to increase. That I know they'll go over. Have more growth there first before their neighborhood centers.
Being an urban center, an area, Madison Park Street, that was.
No. Plan is a complicated strategies to meet our growth. Centers is one suite of things that we're now and potential more in Capitol Hill. Strategies in different places. Role as the city grows, like opportunities with different amenities. They need that need. They also South Lake Union. Construction sizes typically vary. Great, we need more of that. OPCD, community development, some environmental review. in South Lake Union, other either or. Spectrum crisis on our hands. These people's needs and neighborhoods. The scale of the neighborhood center. We need South Lake Union. And we're doing
Work with Matt the right height. Clearly from you all, the neighborhood heard it from the center. It's like we're in that. About parking. We shut down. I get
Hello. King. Happy for them. New sidewalks. Wonderful for them. Sidewalk along here. Terrible accidents. A lot of people broken elbows. Can't seem to get a project compared to what about, but it's dangerous.
Yeah, great. Because people are major, whether it's like or sidewalks. Not a lot of some potentially the. Do you have pictures? 43rd. What I will do is elevate it to 6, or is it bumps that are happening? Like
It's beyond repair. Needs replacement.
yeah.
The Parks Department breaks it up. It's
Sidewalks. I understand parking.
The One Seattle plan could summarize in the process. I also would like to refer that was in the Seattle Times for very nice, experienced people who raise a lot about the One Seattle plan, scattershot approach that didn't a clear, inspiring vision, and meaningful in shaping how and they had it for what should be done differently. Is still under consideration. How can we be fixed before
So we're right in the middle. We're a work. I've already. Okay. I came to tell y'all this in front of engagement. This is a part of their. They've come to neighborhood walks, meetings, like. Number 2, the people aren't, if people process, so this, We also have time as where we can make this as the paper that they wanted to see. Identity, we talked about. I don't know. Talk in. No. Well, and I'm meeting with neighbor people. I will.
The dam road,
Other bad.
that, what is some of the, what do you call it? Walking with their walkers. Ready to take a hit. MLK, I mean, they're just
Yeah, the scooter. Okay, so I just want to highlight former transportation. There was little money, and it was put a emphasis on maintenance to make sure that we had sidewalks for roads, just the basics for people. I think Seattle, we get caught up in new projects all the time because we have attention that like we just, pay attention. So we are really honing on for this transportation. If there are that are, I heard about the painted sidewalk. Tell them to our office. 2 years, but it's gonna get elevate as fast as we can.
a follow-up. Yesterday, it's from Lake Washington intersection. It's going to be fired.
No comment. Your frustration, okay?
I know there's a mayor election is dependent on Carol, or will it continue no matter?
I piece particularly has come from our transportation plan on potentially our past 3 years. Current mayor, I can't speak to the election because views in different directions. A mayor, so I'm sure I can't speak on that. I can only seen from my mayor and had working.
I have a question for the captain. On
SPD, let's.
We can take a break. We live on 24th Ave and Street.
Yeah.
We moved from New York. In theory, nothing, but just in the there's a fire, a car in a tree, our shoes got and just some things, and so is that normal? And if we can do about it, just is from small children.
Yeah. Development, or is it a single house?
It's a single house.
So I have a actually does security for any of the folks. And like that sometimes. What Joe can do, and I'll talk about it a little bit, is property of, you know, if there are bushes, whether or not you can and we felt people, so I mean it's a safety assessment.
Yeah, okay. So you can have scheduled, just come get my card after with it like that. We can schedule assessment. We walk various things. So we're looking at various and then city issues that I coordinate with the office and city. It's a, you know, gotta work through issues. And issues, it's more individual property shore up your, and so the things I do. So
While I'm up here,
I don't think this. But we see sleeping. No.
thank you. If you call one, it's the number we all think about. If you call one, our dispatchers are questions like, is there an event going on right now? In case it's a life. If you happen to say yes, I'm in a doorway, they're not. They might ask you, medical problem, we do, you know, can come out and things like that. It may not be like we see something like we think they might like that, but our dispatchers are to try and elicit as many details as you walk by. They're sleeping there. Send an officer out or the fire welfare. We also have a actually goes out. They're not crisis and talk to people versus things like that.
Does the care team?
Yes, ma'am. Care team is kind of for 9 batch for all of us.
yeah, just think 911, the one number in, and then specialty units will be our team, our community service within the department. And then if it's over to fire 911, being all dispatched. 625 6.
Can we get that? It's on our website.
Maybe the notes for the, and then same call taker that's taking them. They're taking them once a year. Just kind of listen to the calls, see what's going on in the community, and that and not emergency. At 12 at what time of day? 10 a.m. right away. So just we're getting cut off. Yeah.
Park Shore for park. My email on the front of that emails to our staff, but please see it as well from the follow-up of please if you need a follow representative always.
Exit out the front October 14th. It should be a really interesting in the landscape returning to discuss the renovation of the back, the shoreline. So that one will be at the back.
Much for being here.